there was an 8-bit thing that I was using that Tareq didn't like. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep him happy, take it out.
Oh my God, I forgot it all about that. I'm so glad it's not in the track anymore.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm very happy to say I'm with two very good friends of mine. It's Argyris and Tareq. How are you coping in lockdown? It's a crazy time.
I've been really lucky. I just got back from 2 weeks in Greece. It feels like I literally just made it there and back before things get worse again. So I'm grateful for that. It's been great for my head, and I got to see my Greek family there. So I'm quite pleased about that. I'm back now and ready to focus on releasing the single and putting it out on to the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy year, but all the plans we had were cancelled, so we had to make new plans, and but still, you know, moving on and see how it's gonna go.
Excellent.
Well, yeah, in a good state, I must say.
Let's go back in time, because I want to hear more about this story, because it's a really good story about how you both met.
We were both promoting kind of competing events across the road from each other, and we've heard of each other before we actually met. But yeah, we did meet out in the club scene in London.
At this point, we're like in each other's face almost every day.
I think it's worth mentioning that, like, you know, 2 years after we met, you know, in this competition of the event, actually then Tareq now lives with me. Yeah, no, it didn't damage the relationship, no.
So I've known you both a long time. I've known you, Argyris, a lot longer, because I've been lucky enough to work for you, because I've DJ'd at Beef Mints, which is going so strong now, isn't it? It's been running at the RVT for a long time. Obviously, the Royal Vauxhall Tavern is back open now. Thank God. How are you coping with that? Have you been able to play anywhere?
We were due to have a Beef Mints party on that Friday when lockdown started. And we could see also from the previous event, which was 2 weeks before that the numbers have started to decrease. Not much, but there was not as busy as people were feeling scared to go out. But obviously the government was not closing the venues. It came down to the promotion team to make a decision on the Wednesday. We decided that we were not going to go ahead that Friday, and sure enough, lockdown happened anyway, so it was the right decision. You're put in an impossible position to choose between public health and your responsibility as a promoter to your customers, and the venue, supporting the venue you love, and nightlife. And there is no right answer. There is no right answer. Obviously, we know how much nightlife has suffered as a result of COVID. We know it's going to be the last thing that goes back to normal. So we're sitting tight. And for me, from a promoter's point of view, as long as the words social distancing are still being knocked around, I would not feel 100% comfortable promoting events again. So we need to put health and safety first.
Tareq, you've just released a solo album as an artist, because obviously you've played at Beef Mints as well as other venues as a DJ. How are you finding it as an artist? Are you finding it quite a creative time? Because a lot of artists have had that downtime to actually, you know, think about music and write songs as well, and feel quite inspired by stuff.
Obviously, yeah, I had plenty of time, so I thought the best thing to do is just be creative, because it's also my getaway, you know, and because things were really tough in the beginning of lockdown. You couldn't see your friends, you didn't know what's coming, you didn't know, people were dying, people I knew passed away. So the only way to like feel better was to create. And I decided to finish an album that I was working slowly. So it took me like a month, and I thought, yeah. Other than that, I've been very creative with other projects that are going to come out soon at some point. But yeah, it's been a very creative year. I think compared to my whole life, this is the most creative year I've ever had. The problem is that you're not able to socialize, to promote, to go out, dance, DJ, and, you know, so especially the dance scene, the dance music, I think it's kind of suffering now.
But you've both been doing some DJ streams online. The Beef Mints ones were great. Are you going to be doing any more of those?
So we did, the first one was the Saturday, that very first Saturday of the lockdown, because we felt so bad not going to play our slot at the RVT on that Friday. We said we'll do it online and we'll put a fundraiser out to give something back. Because again, when you put in a decision to make between public health and supporting the venue, we chose not to do. But then we said, let's do that and make it for the RVT. So the first one was incredible. The response and the engagement was so unexpected. Then you would see, like, within weeks, everybody was doing it. And eventually I found after a couple of months, 2-3 months, it kind of lost the novelty element of it, because when you're DJing in the club, it's completely different. You're getting the feedback, you know, from the crowd. You have the lights, you have, you know, like all the people. So it creates the atmosphere. When you're, and you know this from your streams, it's not the same being on your own and kind of playing the music, because it would be like you don't get this immediate feedback, so it's not the same. So we saw the engagement kind of decrease a bit, and then what we did, we changed it up and started streaming from other people's houses. So we had Ross Jones, we had, you know, yourself as well. And then when that kind of had its moment as well, we thought, let's take a break and then come back to it. So if we go back into lockdown and again nobody can leave their houses, then maybe that would be another time to bring it back. It's difficult to see with the restrictions and how things go and whether there will be a second lockdown. So with these things, and then but we're taking it day by day, week by week, see how things go. Yeah,
never say never. It's the weirdest thing though, isn't it? It's so surreal DJing at home. I got a barking dog that goes crazy when the lights are going off. So it's certainly not the same as being out in a club. Tell us about the single, because it's Slow Motion. It comes out on 23rd of October. Remixes are going to follow after that as well. Great remix package. I'm so glad that you guys are working together again as well, because I mentioned that it sounds like you both understand each other in the studio. Is it different though in the studio when you're working together? Is there much hair pulling? Are you divas?
No, because we know the role that we each play in the collaboration. So when Tareq does his own stuff, he's got completely control of his sound. And to me, it's the songwriting and his voice that kind of pulls me in towards him. So when he does his stuff, it's fantastic. When we decide to work together, whether it's his song and he sings it as well, so he doesn't mind me kind of taking control of the production side. So because he says to me, look, as long as I sing it, I don't care. So he wouldn't give me a song and allow me to find another vocalist for it. That would never happen. It's about trusting each other. So this particular song, the way that it came about, when Tareq was kind of curating all the different tracks for his album, he was playing me different demos at different times. And then one time we came back from Beef Mints and we long night, you know, came back, had a few drinks as well. So he played me this demo and I was completely blown away. And I said, look, don't put this in your album. Don't put this, give it to me instead. So, and I kind of like pecked his head for ages to kind of like make sure that he doesn't put it in. And eventually he handed it over to me. The thing is that he's been so good to me. When he did hand over the song, he allowed me to then change it and to I changed the title, I changed the structure, I made it a lot more pop in its structure, in its arrangement. I added lyrical content. So although it's his song, then he kind of like gave it to me. And
well, now it's our song. So
now, exactly. Now it's our song. So then I changed the arrangement completely, and that's how Slow Motion came about. But at every stage of the production, I would go back to him and I'd say, look, what do you think of this? Should we do this? It was a true collaboration, and there wasn't really much conflict because we do this because we love it and we want to have fun with it. So we're not arguing over it. There was one particular, there was an 8-bit thing that I was using that Tareq didn't like. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep him happy, take it out. If that's what it takes, and just crack on with it.
Oh my God, I forgot it all about that. I'm so glad it's not in the track anymore.
It's all about compromise, isn't it? You've got to compromise. I suppose when you're working on your own track, it's different because you can be a bit more, I don't know, a bit more selective, I suppose. But when you're working together, you got to understand each other's demands.
Well, yeah, obviously that's the thing. I mean, because I've collaborated in the past with many people, and you have to find a common ground, and then. But with Argyris, because I've done remixes for him, and he did remix for me. So I know the way he works and the format and everything. So I thought, you know, I'll let him take over and do what he has as a vision, because I trust him. And then, you know, I just want to give him the joy of creating a track, because it's a nice experience to have. I mean, I've done it in the past so many times, so it's nice to give to other people that experience.
That's so, really generous. I think, because so many people, especially when they're working in the studio together, or if they're working on a track they're both passionate about, I think there can be real problems, because I think one of the artists, you know, doesn't give that other person the ability to do that, you know, the freedom to do that. So I think that's great.
There's a difference, because we're in different stages in our journey. So I started producing about 4 years ago. Tareq has 3 personal albums under his belt, numerous collaborations, EPs. So in terms of musicianship, like he's ahead. And I started, mine kind of stemmed out of DJing and promoting. So you're right, it was very generous for him to trust me, because I have built my own sound, and Tareq responds to that. Even, you know, the remix of You and Me that you also play and like, so he could see that if he trusted me, I wouldn't mess it up. So yes. Tareq's vocal is so distinctive, and his voice is so, and it really goes with this kind of 80s vibe. And if you would say, what is the band that kind of, if we take his style and my style, it's Depeche Mode. This is where Tareq and I need that kind of pop, but electronic, moody, I guess, but still uplifting. So I think this is where we meet.
There's been some amazing albums this year. We've got Roisin Murphy, we've got Georgia, which is my favourite album of the year, Jessie Ware as well. Are these albums that you're listening to? What music are you listening to in lockdown? Because I suppose we've got more time to listen to music at the moment.
I'm listening to Tareq's album Prince.
Oh, there we go.
Oh my God.
Was that deliberate?
No, we didn't even say that. So yeah, thank you, Argyris. That's a good choice.
I have to say, for me this year, like absolutely Jessie Ware, Dua Lipa, even I think one of the remixes of Slow Motion is very Dua Lipa-esque. The Roisin album recently is also good. I have to say, and I was surprised myself, the new Miley Cyrus, absolutely, for me, the song of the summer, Midnight Sky. Even the current commercial pop releases are so in touch with the 80s vibe.
My lockdown album was the Jessie Ware's album. It was, it's been amazing, and I think from first to last song, everything is perfect in that album. Like I hope like it gets all the awards this year. I don't know. I need to give a listen to Roisin's album, because I know there were like some tracks she already released. So I mean, I'm guessing half of them I know them already, but it's different to have the experience from the beginning to the end. So I want to give that a go at some point. There's good stuff. I mean, I know that people postpone their releases because of the situation, but I think people need to listen to music, and it's the better time to release something.
Yeah, I don't want to get too down in the whole government thing and the way that they're treating the industries, you know, the arts and entertainment industries, but a lot of people are speaking out on social media. How do you feel about it at the moment with the current climate?
From my perspective, like it's been terrible, because I had so many gigs booked. Like I had gigs in Greece and Los Angeles, New York, and everything was cancelled. So all that's gone, and then you just sit there and like, what should I do? Like, you know, finding different jobs that you didn't want to do at the moment, or just to keep going.
I feel that the arts are not getting the same support. If you look at when, you know, we had the other crisis in 2008, all the bankers were bailed out because they felt they were, you know, part of the economy. Why does not the same thing apply for the arts? In 2012, when we had the Olympics, we were so proud of, you know, the arts and, you know, the opening ceremony and all of that, and we were celebrating it. Why can't we go back to that, to celebrate and support the arts like it's deserved? So and the other thing is, it is a job. People have sacrificed to build up their names, to build up a career. And then suddenly it stops, and they says, you know, actually it was not worth it, retrain. It's not fair. People are passionate about what they do, and telling them to stop doing it is telling them to stop being who they are. And I think a true artist doesn't have a choice. You cannot choose not to do art, because then it'll eat you up, and you'll be unhappy. So,
yeah, you think about how much joy the industries bring to people as well, and you just can't imagine a life without theatre, without music, without TV or movies. It's a crazy thought, but
there's no nightlife, and it's a vital part for like many businesses. Like even you go in a club, there's like the bars, there's hospitality, the taxi drivers. This is like it's a chain reaction of, doesn't work for a big part of the economy in this country, or any country actually, because I'm looking around and seeing that there's no support in other countries even.
Absolutely. So your single Slow Motion, you've got a remix package coming out on the 13th of November. Tell us about some of the people that have produced remixes, because it is your family really, isn't it? The people that have put in work for this.
There's some staples that every time I do something, Ross Jones has to be part of it. So
is that because he's demanding to be included? He's throwing a strop.
He's the diva. No, I mean Ross is he's like a brother. So everywhere I am, whether it's Beef Means and bringing him as a DJ, or whether it's productions and him doing remixes, he's always part of it. One of my idols, kind of producers, is Andrew Bernard. So he's had different aliases. He's been Bit Rocker, he's been Orson, he has this Italo band called Moderno. He's now done a remix for this as Kiss the Panther. So he's bringing the kind of like Euro sleaze, kind of like club vibe. Ross did his typical very disco house, early 2000s Vauxhall inspired. Then from Tareq's side, I met another producer called Elliot, and that's a friend of Tareq's who kind of came on board this project, who did kind of a more kind of new disco pop but club vibe, a very 80s influence, very Dua Lipa. And the other one is Anata, which is the new name for Mike Bessie, who used to be Michalis and Kidology and all of that. So he's kind of like now back with DJ. So he DJ'd for us before lockdown, and he's kind of become part of the Beef Means family, if you like. So that kind of completes the four different, and he's done a more kind of like stripped down house version. So everything's like very different, and it made for a kind of more complete package, I think. So I'm very pleased with the work that they've done. They're all really good.
Yeah, it's a really strong team. I'm a big fan of all the people that have put work in for this, because I should say also I know Ross quite well, so that was the reason for the hissy fit comment.
Yeah,
and they'll appreciate that.
Exactly, yeah. and you love Andy. I know how much support you've given to Andy as well over the years. So it's it makes sense that these people are in the mix for us to collaborate with, because these are our friends, but also the people we admire their work. And this is what makes it so special for me, because it's not just a creative process, but you bring in the people that you love and you admire to work with you on the project, and then it becomes like a family affair, which is fabulous.
Guys, it's so good to see you and to chat about the new single. I wish you all the best with it. Slow Motion out on the 13th of November for the remixes, and the 23rd of October for the single package, the original single package.
The thing with this single, it really sits on the boundaries of kind of dance music and unashamed synth pop. So I remember always kind of trying to answer the question, am I making the track for the radio, or am I making the track for the dance floor? I cannot answer the question for this one, because I think it sits like right in the middle. It could go down well on the dance floor. It has a powerful kick drum, very heavy sequencer bass line, and all these industrial accents that the track has. But it's a pop structure and very uplifting, and I can imagine it being played on the radio. So it's hopefully it'll do well, on both sides. I can't wait to play it at Beef Means. It actually hurts so much. I wanna actually hear it in the loudspeakers on the fantastic RVT sound system.